Hey everyone, welcome back. A new year, new me, new kitchen. I am back in my home state of Pennsylvania. So I know I was away for a while. I was busy moving, but I am very excited to be back and sharing more recipes with you all. Our recipe for today are coconut donuts. This recipe is based on the Barefoot Contessa's coconut cake, which is one of my favorite recipes, but I've just adapted it for donuts. It's a buttery, nutty coconut cake. They are delicious. They look so impressive if you ever serve them to guests, but I'm going to show you just how easy they are to make. So let's get started. The written recipe for these coconut donuts are in the description of the video, and while you're down there, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. It is greatly appreciated. So the first thing that I want to do is cream my softened butter with my sugar. So I have 4 tablespoons of butter and half cup of softened butter stuck to the bottom of my ramekin. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to beat this very fast for a good 2 minutes until it's light and fluffy and the sugar is beginning to dissolve. Okay, this is looking great. I'm going to now beat my egg into the sugar butter mixture. Just a quick beat, get it all incorporated. Awesome. Now I'm gonna start alternating between my dry ingredients and my wet ingredients. And the reason for that is I don't want the consistency of this to get too dry or too wet all at once, because it's gonna make incorporating the rest of this stuff a little difficult. So I'm gonna give my flour, salt, and baking powder a quick whisk. And tip in 1/3 of that. Give it a really quick mix. It's fine if there's still some lumps. We're gonna mix this more. Okay. Half of my milk. About half of the flour that we have left here. Now to the last half of my milk, I'm gonna add, I have a half a teaspoon of vanilla and a half a teaspoon of almond extract. If you've never had almond extract, it's one of my favorite ingredients. I sneak it into a lot of my baked goods. It's kind of the characteristic flavoring of when you think of quintessential birthday cake. It's completely optional. If you do not like it, you could just leave it at vanilla. I love it in here. I will also sometimes add almond extract to protein shakes, sugar cookies, and it just gives a little extra flavor that people are kind of like, what is that? Why does this taste so amazing? Okay, last little bit of flour. Give this the tiniest mix. You'll notice that the coconut donuts don't have any coconut in them yet. That's the last thing I'm gonna add here. I'm gonna gently fold it in. But the first thing I'm gonna do is take my about 1/3 of a cup of coconut flakes, and I'm gonna chop it up a little bit, and that's just to help it incorporate a little bit better. I don't want any huge chunks that might prevent the donuts from really holding their shape and getting fluffy. You could absolutely skip this step. That's it. I'm going to tip this in, and I'm just gonna give this one final gentle mix before I put it into my donut pan. I found the easiest way to put this batter into my donut pan is with a piping bag. So I'm gonna grab the piping bag, my pan, give it a quick spray. I'm gonna tip a good chunk of my batter into my piping bag. Whoop. Got a little dribble. And then all I'm gonna do is pipe batter in here. I like to fill it to the top of this little post in the middle. So they're gonna look really puffy. You're not gonna get like a perfect little ring, but I prefer them to be puffy than to be like wimpy little donuts. Got a little bit left in here, so I'm gonna top some of these off. Again, they might not come out the perfect shape. They might be a little too puffy, but too much donut is never a bad thing. Well, I guess maybe. Depending on your dietary restrictions, it might be a bad thing. So these bad boys are gonna go into the oven. Start checking them around 12 minutes. Again, it's gonna depend on the size of your donut pan. Just give it the toothpick test like you would any cake or cupcake. I have my oven preheated to 350 and I'll show you what they look like when they come out. After 12 minutes at 350, my donuts were perfectly done. The toothpick test came out clean. They're a little bit closed up, but I am not complaining about that. Last thing I want to do is I'm going to cover these with a cream cheese glaze and then top them with toasted coconut. What I have here that I made ahead of time is some coconut that I toasted in the oven under the broiler. Just a word of warning, when you're toasting your coconut in the broiler, you want to make sure that you watch it constantly, especially if you're doing it in an unfamiliar oven. Coconut's really high in sugar and it can burn in basically no time flat. I learned that lesson the hard way tonight, twice. So the first thing I'm gonna do is make my glaze. What I have in my little bowl here is some very warm, it's a tablespoon of cream cheese and a couple tablespoons of butter. I'm gonna give those a quick stir. We're not going for a light and fluffy icing. This is gonna be a pretty runny glaze, so you don't have to worry about whipping everything with a whisk. Once that is combined, we're going to stir in a little bit of powdered sugar and then just a tiny splash of milk. This is gonna start off pretty runny, and then we're just gonna keep adding powdered sugar to this until we get a glazed consistency. Powdered sugar can sometimes take some time to absorb, but it is extremely absorbent. A little bit. No, that's not what I wanted to say. Always be really patient when you're stirring this before you add any more milk. After an addition of powdered sugar, it really can appear dry, and then all of a sudden the powdered sugar just absorbs the liquid and it liquefies. So you don't want to keep adding milk and making your glaze too runny. So this is what we're looking for. This isn't runny like Krispy Kreme glaze or anything like that. It's pretty thick. So I'm gonna take one of my donuts here. I'm gonna smear it with some of this cream cheese frosting. And then dunk it right in my toasted coconut. There we go. There we go. All 6 of our donuts are glazed and coconutted. These look fantastic. I cannot wait to eat one of these later tonight. Well, I hope you all had a great new year, a great holiday. Sorry I haven't seen you in a little while. Maybe this year your 2021 resolution can be to do a little bit more baking. So I will see you all around again soon, and check back in for more recipes. Bye.